My beloved child, I know there are moments in the quiet of the night when you look at yourself and wish you were someone else, someone who seems to fit into this world with an ease that you have never known. You look at the way others navigate life, how they seem to belong so effortlessly, and you wonder why you always feel like a puzzle piece that was put in the wrong box. I hear the silent whisper of your heart that questions if a mistake was made when I formed you, if perhaps some ingredient was left out or some flaw was accidentally woven in. But I want to stop you right there and tell you with all the love in the universe that I do not create accidents, and I certainly did not start with you. I see the way you constantly edit yourself, trying to smooth out your edges and quiet your voice because you have been told that you are too much or too different for the people around you. You have spent years apologizing for the very things that make you who you are, shrinking back into the shadows because you fear that if you were fully seen, you would be fully rejected. But I did not design you to live in the shadows or to be a diluted version of someone else. I designed you to be exactly who you are, with all your intensity, your unique perspective, and your specific heart. The world may not always understand you, but that does not mean you are wrong. It often means you are necessary in a way they cannot yet comprehend. You have carried a heavy burden of feeling like an outsider in your own life, walking into rooms and immediately sensing that you are operating on a different frequency than everyone else. This feeling has led you to believe that there is something fundamentally broken within you, something that keeps you from experiencing the connection and belonging you crave. But I want you to know that this feeling of being set apart is not a symptom of brokenness. It is a sign of holiness, a mark that I have placed upon you for a specific purpose. You were not made to blend in with the crowd because you were called to lead, to heal, and to see things that others miss. And that requires a separation that can feel lonely until you understand its purpose. I know how often you replay your interactions with others, analyzing every word and every expression, convinced that you have said the wrong thing or acted in a way that was awkward or embarrassing. You are your own harshest critic, holding yourself to a standard of perfection that no human being could ever meet, and then punishing yourself when you inevitably fall short. I want you to lay down that gavel and stop judging yourself for being human, for being in process, and for learning as you go. Your perceived awkwardness is often just your sincerity trying to find a place to land in a world that is used to superficiality, and your sincerity is precious to me. There is a deep ache in your soul that comes from feeling misunderstood, from pouring your heart out only to be met with blank stares or confusing indifference from those you wanted to connect with. You have interpreted this silence as a confirmation that you are unlovable or that your thoughts and feelings are invalid, but that is a lie from the enemy designed to silence you. The truth is that your depth can be intimidating to those who are comfortable swimming in the shallows, and their inability to meet you in the deep waters is not a reflection of your worth. Do not dry up your ocean just because others are afraid to swim. Wait for the ones I am sending who know how to dive. You have looked at your sensitivity as a weakness, a flaw that makes life harder for you than it seems to be for others who can brush things off and move on without a second thought. You feel things deeply, the pain of others, the beauty of a sunset, the sting of a harsh word, and you have often wished you could turn down the volume of your heart. But your sensitivity is one of your greatest gifts, a reflection of my own heart that feels the suffering and the joy of the world with infinite capacity. Without your sensitivity, the world would be a colder, darker place. So please do not despise the way I made your heart to beat in rhythm with the emotions of those around you. I see the exhaustion that comes from trying to wear a mask that does not fit, from pretending to be interested in things that bore you, and hiding the passions that truly light you up. You have spent so much energy trying to curate a version of yourself that is acceptable to others that you have lost touch with the beautiful, vibrant soul I created you to be. It is time to take off the mask and rest, to realize that the energy you spend hiding is energy you could be using to thrive and to bless the world with your true self. I love the real you, the unedited you, the you that exists when no one else is watching, and I want that version of you to walk freely in the light. You often wonder why your path seems so much more difficult and winding than the straight lines that others seem to walk, why you face obstacles and delays that don't make sense. You compare your timeline to theirs and feel like you are falling behind, like you have missed the boat or taken a wrong turn that has disqualified you from the race. But your journey is unique because your destination is unique. I am preparing you for things that require a different kind of training, a different kind of strength. Do not envy the easy paths of others, for they are not going where you are going, and they are not becoming who you are becoming. The unique way you think, the way your mind connects dots that others don't see, and the way you dream of things that seem impossible to those around you is not a sign of madness. It is the signature of the Creator within you, the spark of divine creativity that I have placed in your spirit to bring new solutions and new beauty into the earth. When you feel weird or crazy for your ideas, remember that every great change in history started with someone who was willing to think differently and risk being misunderstood. Your mind is a beautiful instrument, and I want you to trust the vision I have given you, even if you are the only one who can see it right now. I know the pain of rejection has left deep scars on your heart, causing you to build walls of protection to keep people at a safe distance so they can't hurt you again. You have decided that it is safer to be alone than to risk the stinging feeling of being told you are not wanted or that you don't belong in the circle. But these walls also keep out the love and the community that I have prepared for you, the people who are looking for exactly what you have to offer. I am asking you to trust me enough to lower the drawbridge, to let people see you again, knowing that my love is a shield that no human rejection can ever penetrate. You have labeled yourself as broken because of your struggles with anxiety, depression, or the chaotic emotions that sometimes seem to take over your days without permission. You look at these struggles as proof that I have abandoned you or that you are spiritually failing. But I want you to know that your struggles do not define your identity. You are not your anxiety, you are not your depression, and you are not your past. You are my beloved child, and I am walking with you through the valley. I am not afraid of your darkness, and I am not repelled by your pain. I am right there in the midst of it, holding you when you cannot hold yourself. There is a specific recurring fear you have that one day everyone will wake up and realize that you are a fraud, that you don't really know what you are doing, or that you aren't as good as they thought. This imposter syndrome keeps you small, preventing you from stepping into opportunities and taking credit for the gifts that I have clearly placed inside of you. But you are not a fraud. You are a learner, a grower, a vessel in the hands of the potter who is constantly shaping you. It is okay not to have all the answers. Your confidence should not come from your own competence, but from my presence within you, which is always enough. You look at your physical appearance and pick apart every detail, wishing you could trade this feature for that one, believing that if you looked different, you would feel worthier. You have bought into the world's narrow definition of beauty, a standard that changes with the wind and leaves everyone feeling inadequate and insecure. But when I look at you, I see a masterpiece, a reflection of my glory, woven together with intention and delight. Your body is the temple of my spirit, and I want you to treat it with honor and kindness, not with the contempt and criticism that the enemy whispers to you. I hear the prayers you pray when you are angry with me, asking why I made you this way, why I gave you these specific desires and these specific limitations that seem to conflict. You feel like a walking contradiction, pulled in two directions, unable to settle down and be content with a simple, ordinary life. But I love your honest prayers, even the angry ones, because they show that you are bringing your true heart to me. Those contradictions are the tension strings upon which I play the music of your life. They are not flaws, but the very dynamics that create the unique melody of your soul. You have a habit of disqualifying yourself before you even begin, telling yourself no before anyone else has the chance to, just to save yourself the embarrassment of trying and failing. You stay in the safe zone, the comfort zone, watching your dreams drift away because you are terrified that you don't have what it takes to achieve them. But I have put those dreams in your heart for a reason, and I have equipped you with everything you need to pursue them. The only failure that truly matters is the failure to try, the refusal to step out in faith and see what I can do with your yes. The loneliness you feel is sometimes so heavy it becomes physical, a literal ache in your chest that reminds you of how different you feel from the rest of the world. You wonder if there is anyone out there who truly speaks your language, who can understand the nuances of your soul without you having to explain everything. I want to reassure you that you are not the only one. I have reserved a remnant, a tribe of people who are cut from the same cloth. They are out there, and as you step more fully into your authentic self, you will act as a magnet that draws them to you. You often feel like you are too much for some people and not enough for others, constantly adjusting your volume and your shape to try and find the right setting. This constant calibration is exhausting and futile because you were never meant to be universally palatable to every person you meet. Some people will not be able to handle your light, and that is okay. It is not your job to dim your light to make them comfortable. Shine as brightly as I created you to shine, and trust that the right people will be drawn to your warmth and will not be blinded by your radiance. I see how you carry the weight of your past mistakes, replaying them like a movie that never ends, convincing yourself that those moments define your future and limit your potential. You think that because you failed then, you are a failure now, and that you have permanently tarnished the image I have of you. But in my kingdom, the past is a school, not a prison. It is a place where you learn, not a place where you live. I have washed you clean. I have redeemed your story, and I use even your missteps to guide you toward the path of righteousness and wisdom. You sometimes wish you could be normal, to have a life that looks like the stock photos of happiness, uncomplicated and easy, without the depth of feeling and the constant questioning. You look at the simple lives of others with envy, wishing you could just turn off your brain and float along the surface. But if you were to trade your depth for simplicity, you would lose the very essence of who you are and the capacity for joy that matches your capacity for sorrow. Your complexity is a gift that allows you to experience me and my creation in ways that are rich, textured, and profoundly beautiful. The fear of being exposed as not enough drives you to overachieve, to say yes when you mean no, and to burn yourself out trying to earn a worth that you already possess. You run yourself ragged trying to prove your value to people who may not even be watching, hoping that if you do enough, you will finally feel like you are enough. But you cannot earn what has already been given. Your worth was settled on the cross, and it is not up for negotiation or reevaluation based on your productivity. Rest in the truth that you are loved simply because you are mine, not because of what you can do for me. I know you struggle with the silence of waiting, wondering if I have forgotten you, or if I made a mistake by planting a dream in your heart that seems to be taking forever to grow. You feel like a seed buried in the dark, abandoned and alone, unsure if you will ever break through the soil and see the sun. But the silence is not abandonment. It is incubation, a holy time where I am developing your roots so you can sustain the fruit that is coming. Do not despise the waiting, for it is in the dark, quiet places that the most profound transformation occurs. You feel a pull toward authenticity that scares you, a desire to speak truths that might rock the boat or upset the delicate balance of the relationships around you. You have swallowed your words for so long that they are burning a hole in your throat, demanding to be released. I am calling you to speak, to be a voice of truth and love, even if your voice shakes. The world is starving for authenticity, and your courage to be real will give others the permission they need to drop their own masks and live in freedom. You look at your emotional scars and see them as ugly marks that ruin the picture, evidence of damage that makes you less valuable than those who seem whole and untouched. But I look at your scars and see gold. I see the places where you have fought, where you have survived, and where you have healed. In Japan, they mend broken pottery with gold, making the broken piece more beautiful and valuable than the original. That is what I am doing with you. Your scars are the gold veins of your testimony, shining with the light of my redemption. There are days when you feel invisible, like you could disappear, and the world would keep spinning without missing a beat, and this thought brings a cold wind to your heart. You wonder if your contribution matters, if your life has any real weight or significance in the grand scheme of eternity. I want you to know that you are seen by the God who names the stars. Your life is woven into the tapestry of history in a way that is essential. If you were not here, there would be a hole in the universe that nothing else could fill, for there is no replacement for you. You struggle to accept compliments because they don't align with the internal narrative you have been listening to for years, the one that tells you you are inadequate. When someone says something kind, you deflect it, minimize it, or secretly suspect they are just being nice out of pity. I want you to start practicing the holy art of receiving, of letting love land on your heart and soak in without you wiping it away. Accept the kindness of others as a hug from me, a reminder that the critical voice in your head is a liar. I see the way you numb your pain, the little habits you turn to when the feelings of being a mistake become too loud to handle on your own. You run to distractions, to food, to screens, or to busyness, trying to drown out the sorrow of feeling disconnected from your own worth. I am not angry with you for these coping mechanisms. I just want something better for you. I want you to bring that pain to me, to let me hold it and heal it, so you no longer need to numb yourself to get through the day. You have often felt like a disappointment to your family, to your culture, or to the expectations that were placed on you from birth. You chose a different path, or you struggled in ways they didn't understand, and the weight of their disapproval has crushed your spirit. But you were not born to fulfill the expectations of others. You were born to fulfill the purpose I placed inside you. Release the burden of their disappointment. It is not yours to carry. You are only responsible for obeying my voice and being true to the design I gave you. The creativity inside you is like a river that has been dammed up by fear and self-doubt, causing pressure and frustration to build up behind the walls of your insecurity. You have ideas, songs, words, or visions that you are afraid to release because you don't think they are good enough or important enough. Break the dam, my child. Let the river flow, regardless of how it is received. The act of creating is an act of worship, a way of partnering with me, and the world needs the unique beauty that only you can bring forth. You worry that you are too emotional, that your feelings are a liability that makes you unstable or unreliable in a world that values logic and stoicism. You try to suppress your tears and harden your heart, thinking that this is what it means to be strong and mature. But Jesus wept. He felt compassion, anger, sorrow, and joy deeply, and he is the model of perfect humanity. Your emotions are the dashboard of your soul, giving you vital information. Do not smash the dashboard, but learn to read it with wisdom and grace. I know you sometimes feel like you were born in the wrong era, that your values and your heart belong to a different time when things were slower, deeper, or more meaningful. You feel out of sync with the modern rush, the superficial connections, and the digital noise that surrounds you constantly. This is a sign that you are called to be a steady anchor in a drifting world, to model a different way of living that honors the soul. Do not try to speed up to match the world. Slow down and invite the world to match your peace. You are afraid that if you truly let go and trusted me, I would ask you to do something terrifying, something that would expose your weakness and make you look foolish. You hold back a part of your heart, keeping control because you think you can protect yourself better than I can. But my plans for you are good. They are plans to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you a hope and a future. The risks I ask you to take are always invitations to glory, opportunities to see my power work through your weakness in miraculous ways. You compare your insides to other people's outsides, assuming that because they look put together, they don't have the same doubts and fears that plague you. This comparison is a trap that keeps you isolated and envious, blinding you to the shared struggle of humanity. Everyone is fighting a hard battle. Everyone has a voice that tells them they are not enough. When you realize this, your judgment turns to compassion and your isolation turns to connection. You have a gift for seeing the potential in others, for loving them through their mess, and for believing in them when they don't believe in themselves. Yet you struggle to extend this same grace and vision to yourself, treating yourself with a harshness you would never use on a friend. I want you to be your own friend, to speak to yourself with the same gentleness and hope that you offer to the world. You deserve your own love. You are worthy of your own compassion. I see the moments when you freeze, paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong decision, terrified that one false move will ruin everything and prove that you are incompetent. You stand at the crossroads for so long that you miss the journey, trapped in the analysis of every possible outcome. I want you to know that I am bigger than your wrong turns. I can recalibrate your route even if you miss an exit. Just move, take a step, and trust that I will guide your feet as you go. You feel a deep sense of justice, an anger when you see the unfairness of the world, and this passion sometimes overwhelms you and makes you feel powerless. You wonder why you care so much when others seem indifferent, and you feel like a raw nerve exposed to the wind. This fire for justice is my fire. It is the heart of God beating within you. Do not quench it, but let me channel it into prayer and action that brings light to the darkness. You have believed the lie that you are damaged goods because of trauma or abuse in your past, thinking that you are permanently stained and unusable for noble purposes. You feel dirty, broken, and ashamed, hiding your story in the deepest dungeon of your heart. But I am the Redeemer who makes all things new. I turn ashes into beauty and mourning into dancing. Your past does not define you. My love defines you, and my love says you are clean, whole, and precious. There is a specific talent or interest you have buried because it didn't seem practical, profitable, or impressive to the world around you. You pushed it aside to pursue what was sensible, but your soul still mourns the loss of that creative spark. I am calling you to dig up that buried treasure, to reignite that passion, not for money or fame, but for the joy of it. When you do what you were made to do, you come alive, and a fully alive you is what the world desperately needs. You often feel like a burden to others, apologizing for your needs, your emotions, or your presence, trying to take up as little space as possible. You think that by shrinking, you are being considerate, but you are actually denying the world the gift of your presence. I want you to take up space, to breathe deeply, to ask for what you need, and to believe that you are worth the effort. You are not a burden, you are a blessing. You struggle with the concept of unconditional love because every love you have experienced on earth has come with conditions, with strings attached. You project this human limitation onto me, waiting for the other shoe to drop, waiting for me to get fed up with you and leave. But my love is not human. It is divine, eternal, and perfect. It does not depend on your performance. It depends on my character, and I cannot deny myself. Listen to this revelation, my child. The very things you think are mistakes are actually the blueprints of your assignment. The sensitivity you hate is the tool I gave you to be a healer. The intensity you fear is the engine I gave you to be a change maker. I did not give you the wrong personality. I gave you the exact equipment you need for the mission I have called you to. You are not a random collection of traits. You are a custom-designed weapon of love. You have been looking at yourself through the lens of rejection, but I want you to look at yourself through the lens of selection. I chose you, specifically and intentionally, before the foundations of the world were laid. I knew exactly what I was getting when I made you, every quirk, every weakness, every strength, and I said, "It is good." You are not an afterthought, you are a forethought, a priority in my heart. The friction you feel with the world is not because you are broken. It is because you are facing against the grain of a fallen culture. You are a citizen of heaven stationed on earth, and it is natural to feel a sense of dissonance when you are far from home. This holy dissatisfaction is meant to keep you moving forward, to keep you seeking me, and to prevent you from getting too comfortable in a world that is passing away. God designed you with intention and purpose, down to the very number of hairs on your head and the specific sound of your laugh. There is no detail of your life that escaped my notice or my planning. Even the things you consider flaws are part of the package. When you criticize your design, you are criticizing the designer, implying that I didn't know what I was doing. Trust my craftsmanship. I do not make junk. That feeling of not fitting in is actually your protection. It has kept you from settling for less than what I have for you. If you had fit in perfectly with the crowd, you might have never sought me, never dug deeper, never found the narrow path that leads to life. Your rejection has been your redirection, guiding you away from places that would have stifled your spirit and toward the open spaces where you can grow. You are a prism, designed to refract my light in a way that no one else can. If you were just like everyone else, the spectrum of my glory would be incomplete. The world needs your specific color, your specific angle, your specific way of shining. Do not try to be a mirror reflecting others. Be the prism I created you to be, and let the light dance through you in all its unique beauty. The struggles you have faced are not evidence of my absence, but of my intense preparation. I forge my strongest soldiers in the hottest fires. You have developed empathy, resilience, and wisdom through your pain that you could have never gained in a life of ease. I am not wasting your pain. I am using it to build a bridge for others to walk across, a bridge from despair to hope that only you could build. Your value is not determined by how many people understand you like you or agree with you. It is determined by the price I paid for you. I gave my son for you. That is how much you are worth, the life of God Himself. When you doubt your value, look at the cross. That is your price tag, and it is the highest price that has ever been paid for anything in the universe. Stop trying to fix what isn't broken. Your personality is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be explored and enjoyed. You have spent so much time trying to fix yourself that you have forgotten to enjoy being yourself. I delight in you just as you are, and I invite you to join me in that delight, to laugh at your quirks, and to embrace your uniqueness with joy. You are a pioneer, and pioneers always look a little strange to the settlers who are content to stay in the safety of the village. You are built for the frontier, for the new things, for the wild places where faith is the only map. Do not let the settlers convince you that you are wrong for wanting to explore. They are simply afraid of the unknown, but you were born for it. The very thing you critique may be what He uses to unlock a door for someone else who is trapped in the same prison of self-hatred. Your freedom will become their key. Your acceptance of yourself will give them permission to accept themselves. You are not just living for yourself. You are living as a signpost, pointing the way to the freedom that is found in being fully who God created you to be. I am renaming your story today. Where you saw mistake, I see miracle. Where you saw rejected, I see chosen. Where you saw weak, I see warrior. Do not let the labels of the world stick to you any longer. Let them slide off like water off oil. You are who I say you are, and I say you are magnificent, capable, and deeply loved. The enemy hates you because you remind him of me. He attacks your identity because he knows that if you ever realized who you truly are, you would be unstoppable. His only weapon is the lie, the whisper that says you are nothing, but you have the sword of truth. Pick up your sword and cut down the lies. Declare your identity aloud until the atmosphere around you shifts. You have a specific frequency of joy that is yours alone, a laugh that breaks strongholds, and a smile that heals hearts. When you suppress your true self, you deprive the world of this medicine. I want you to unleash your joy, to be unashamedly enthusiastic, to let your spirit soar without worrying about looking cool or composed. The joy of the Lord is your strength, and it is a strength that the world cannot comprehend. I am calling you to a deeper level of trust, a trust that says, God, if you made me this way, then this way must be good. It is an act of surrender to stop fighting your design and start flowing with it. When you align with your design, you align with my grace, and everything becomes easier, lighter, and more fruitful. You are not too much. You are a vast ocean in a world of cups, and people simply don't have the capacity to hold all that you are. That is not your fault, and it is not their fault. It is simply a mismatch of capacity. Stop trying to pour your entire ocean into a thimble. Find the lakes, the rivers, and the other oceans where your depth is welcomed and celebrated. The invitation is to come home to yourself, to inhabit your own body and soul with confidence and peace. You have been living like a guest in your own house, afraid to touch the furniture or make a noise. It is time to unpack, to settle in, to decorate the walls with your truth, and to say, "This is who I am, and I am here to stay." Now, my child, I encourage you to stop apologizing for your design. Stop saying, "I'm sorry" for your feelings, your questions, or your needs. Apologize when you hurt someone, yes, but never apologize for being someone. Stand tall in your identity, for when you honor yourself, you honor the God who made you. Choose one action today that honors who you are, something small that says, I accept me. Wear the outfit you love but were afraid was too bold. Sing the song that is in your heart. Write the poem, take the nap. Do something that affirms your unique soul and breaks the agreement you have made with conformity. Let God rename your story, not people's labels, not your past failures, and not your inner critic. Listen for my voice, the still small voice that calls you beloved, friend, heir, and light. Let those names echo in your mind until they drown out every other name you have ever been called. You are a vital part of the body of Christ, and the body needs the eye to be an eye and the hand to be a hand. If you try to be a foot when you are a hand, the body is handicapped. Be the best you that you can be, for that is the greatest contribution you can make to the kingdom. Forgive yourself for the years you spent hating yourself. You were doing the best you could with the wounds you carried. Release the regret of wasted time and step into the present with a heart full of grace. I redeem the time. I can do more in a moment of your alignment than you could do in a lifetime of striving. Surround yourself with people who celebrate you, not just tolerate you. Find the tribe that sees your gold and reminds you of it when you forget. If you haven't found them yet, pray for them. I am faithful to set the lonely in families. Keep your heart open and they will come. Remember that you are a work in progress, and that is a beautiful thing. You are not a finished product sitting on a shelf, but a living garden that is always growing. Be patient with your growth. Celebrate the small shoots of green and don't curse the weeds. I am the gardener, and I am tending to you with infinite care. Your difference is your destiny. It is the map to your calling, the compass that points to where you are meant to go. Follow the things that make you different, for they will lead you to the place where you are most needed. Trust your instincts, for they are often the whisper of the Spirit guiding you. Walk with your head high, not in pride, but in the dignity of a child of the King. You carry the royal blood of heaven in your veins. Act like it. Do not cower before the world. Face it with the gentle confidence that comes from knowing who holds your hand. I am with you in every awkward moment, every lonely night, and every tearful prayer. I have never left your side, and I never will. My love for you is a constant, steady flame that will never burn out. Warm your hands at this fire, and let it melt the ice of fear around your heart. You are a masterpiece, a one-of-a-kind creation that will never be repeated in all of eternity. Cherish your uniqueness, for it is my gift to you and your gift to the world. Do not hide it under a bushel. Set it on a stand and let it give light to the whole house. Go forth today with a new song in your heart, a song of acceptance and freedom. The chains are broken, the cage door is open. You are free to be you, fully, wildly, and wonderfully you. I love you with an everlasting love, a love that is deeper than the ocean and higher than the stars. Receive it, believe it, and live in it. You are not a mistake, you are my miracle. If this message has touched your heart and helped you see yourself through my eyes, I invite you to stay connected here so we can continue this journey of healing together. By subscribing, you are opening a door to receive regular reminders of your true identity and worth. You are loved, you are chosen, and you are exactly enough. Go in peace, my beloved child.